Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy time zone, happy Sunday. Thank you, Bricky Jams, for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome in. And hello, Hoagie. How are you? How's everyone doing on this fine Sunday? Oh, some of my screens just froze up. There we go. Think we're okay? Still live? Still live. Keldon's here. Morning, Keldon. With the Jesse L first thing in the morning. There we go. Let's see. Will Keldon land? Can he do it? Bricky, this is an invite-only server. So unfortunately, no. You may not join. This is the Bedrock Legends server that I'm playing from, if I can spell. There we go. 30 Minecraft creators. Started on November 1st. It's a hardcore server that I was invited to, so alas, I am not in control of who is on the server. But we're not inviting anyone else. Hi, Matt. Good morning. Oh, maybe Matt will land. Matt likes to try to predict the future here. And we got Jules. Hello, Jules. How are you doing, my dear? Oh, Matt landed. That's, Jules, please take the crown from him because I would like to not die. Oh no, no, you didn't. You didn't take the crown. Ah. So we might die today. If we die today, it's Matt's fault. If we die, it's Matt's fault. That's all you need to know. All right. I feel a little twisted here. My blanket's all messed up. Let me try to fix that. We have two cats in the room with us today, but they're both. Neither of them want to be in front of the cat cam, it seems. Scully, what are you doing? What are you doing, baby? Woo-hoo. You're just chilling in the sunbeam. He's just chilling in the sun. And Mulder's in the bed back there. My two boys. Nobody wants to lay in the cat cam bed? No? You'd rather stay off camera today? I understand. I understand. Stay away from the edge of the map and I'll be fine? What do you mean? Oh, because you're on the edge of the leaf pile? But Matt, Minecraft worlds are like technically kind of infinite. So I think we'll avoid the edge of the map, no problem. Oh, Bricky's dropping. That's a pretty good drop. Is that gonna land? Oh, right outside the leaf pile. I thought you had it there, Bricky. But we can all try again in about 10 minutes. The drop game is on a reset. It resets itself every 10 minutes or so, and then we can all drop again. So don't worry, you'll have another chance. All right. Shall we? I think before we do, we should all take a big old sip of water. The handle on my water bottle broke off. I used to have like a handle. It broke off. Now I have to hold it with my whole hand. Very disappointing. It's about time for a new water bottle, I'm afraid. Big sip of water. Hydration's so important. I'm also going to have a little sip of my coffee. Scully, please don't stare directly into the sun. Even though Minecraft maps are basically infinite, are they flat? Yes. Yes. I mean, there's mountains and valleys and caves and whatnot, but yeah. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's get on the server. Looks like I'm the only one. I'm gonna be all by myself. Great use of the sunglass add-on for that emote there. Okay. Let's take a little sleepy poo and before we get going, don't want to encounter any mobs outside. But look, things are still the same as we left them. We started working on the waterfall over there. It needs some work. It definitely needs some work. We're gonna have to do some different blocks and stuff and make this look a little little more realistic. And around the pond that we put in, none of that was there. This was all just grass before. So we put in a pond and a waterfall to feed into the pond and a little bridge. One thing I want to do, I want to find amethyst so that I can zoom in on stuff. Because right now, I don't have a spyglass. So I think that before we do any of this, we should go looking for an amethyst geode. Which means we're probably going to have to go into some caves, which can be dangerous. But we got our gear, we've got our protection, we've got feather falling, we got our shield, we've got a golden apple. And a mostly broken shovel. We've also got our wings and a few rockets. I think we might go over to the spawn village, grab a few more rockets, because I went through a bunch yesterday when we were out and about finding, we went to go find mud from a mangrove biome, but instead I found cats. So now we have Truman and Cooper. And I kind of want to rename Truman to Harry. So we're going to use one of my name tags and rename him Harry. Sheriff Harry S. Truman, not to be confused with the president. So let's just do that real quick. Truman, there we go. Harry and Cooper keeping an eye on things in the entryway. Geode hunt! Indeed. Matt put the sunglasses on the headstone. I'm not the lone survivor. Nobody else has died. I'm just the only one on the server right now. See, just me. Just me. But there are another 16 people still alive. Yes, I did find a moss making machine and I almost broke it. I did accidentally cause some issues there. But it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to be concerned about. Just checking in my furnaces, seeing if I've left stuff around here. No? Okay. So let's take our rockets and our wings, and we're gonna go over to the spawn village. We're gonna grab another stack or two of rockets from the, first we gotta put the wings on. There we go. Now we can fly. Gonna grab another stack or two of rockets from the little barn over here that Val set up. We've already given Val our soul, so we might as well take advantage of the benefits of doing such. What did I just pick up? Nothing? I thought I picked up something. That was weird. Oh, I think it was the bees popping out. Oh my god, so many rockets. So we'll just grab a few of those. Thank you, Val, for your contributions. Oh, there's amethyst right here. But I want to go get my own. I want to do something myself. And before we go, let's go grab a bit of XP. We'll do a tiny bit of killing at the Scaly farm, I guess. Or we can go do a tiny bit of trading real quick. Trading would be faster. Oh, that was good. Oh, ignore what's over there. We're not looking at anybody's stuff. Oh, what's happening here? What's this? Oh, it's an automatic melon and pumpkin farm, I think. Gotta jump. I'm too short. I can't see. Yeah. So that's cool. Very, very cool. Huh. Oh. Perhaps we should craft some of this into blocks. Since that's full up. I'm gonna trade some of it real quick, and then we'll put the rest into blocks and put them in there with all of these. So okay, I've gotta hold the thing I want to heal up. That my wings are on. We got the shovel. Everything else is pretty much fully repaired. Let's just. I don't have the space in my inventory for the emeralds. What can we do with that? We can turn a bunch of this into blocks is what we can do. Clear up some of that. Huh? Okay. There we go. Now I can pick things up. Give me those. Where were they? Were they? Who did I just give those to? Thank you. And you. I would like to give you some of this here. Okay, and you, sir. Huh? One more. Not fully repaired? So close! Okay, well, on to the next guy. We'll get there. There's plenty of iron because there's an iron farm, a community iron farm. Iron farm. I can talk. And anybody else? Ah, the wings are fully healed. That's what's important. So let's turn the rest of this into blocks. I'll throw these few in here. But yeah, it's still coming in. It must all be in the hoppers, I imagine. So I'll put all this in here. Nope. This one. There we go. Look at that. Look at all that iron. I'm actually going to take a few blocks. Let's put those and the emeralds into my ender chest. Emerald blocks. Ender chest. Alright, that would be more than enough iron for us then. Oh, I did have one more stack of rockets. That's good. That's good. We'll just do this for now. Got my one empty shulker box on me. Wait, we ready? Are we ready to go into the mines and find ourselves a geode? Or into the caves at the very least. Not looking at things. No spoilers. Everybody look at the ground. Close your eyes. We're not spoiling things. People are building here. We're not going to ruin it. Or try not to ruin it. Alright. I think we should just find a big old cave and fly into it. What could go wrong? Nothing. Surely nothing could go wrong. Go find one of the caves by us. Certainly we won't encounter any sort of mobs or scary things. Definitely won't find any deep dark. No, definitely not. Well, I'm not doing anything to anybody, Keldon. I don't know what you're talking about. A little bit of sand. Weird place for some sand. Oh, should we grab some of this here coal while we're out and about? Did I pick those up? I did. Okay. I didn't hear the little poppy sounds from picking things up. Oh, there's more here than I expected. Nice. Thank you, thank you. This ravine looks like a good place to start. Seems somebody's been here. Ooh. Oh. Whoa. Hey. Oh. Could use a little more copper, I suppose. We got our bed with us, right? Yep, we do. Not that it'll matter once we're in the cave. Just like to make sure we're prepared for all situations. So yeah, somebody investigated here a little bit. Oh, I hear a bat. Ah! Whoa! Where'd you come from? Whoa, knockback. Whoa, knockback. Where'd you come from? Up there, I guess? Guys, we're off to a great start. Maybe I should have made more torches. This is fine. Okay, this is fine. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. You two, get out of here. Get out of here. Oh my god, my aim is terrible this morning. That's a great start. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. Torch. Torch. Oh! Rah. Waha. Ha. Get wrecked, creeper. I'm brave. I'm very brave. Big brave. What? Rude. Goodbye. Goodbye now. I just want the experience. I don't really want the bones or the arrows right now. Which we should grab another bundle and just do this. Waha. All right, let's go. Let's see what we can find down here. Hopefully not death. I see glow squid. Glow squid are nice. Just a few mobs, nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. We got this. This is fine. Totally fine. Who's hitting me? Who's hitting me? You. You're hitting me. Very uncool. Ah. Ah. Eat some food. Goodbye. We love Seribot. Seribot does wonders. Okay, there's so much residual sizzling. I'm not a big fan of that. Alright, guys. Alright, listen. I want to collect some stuff while we're down here. And you're not making that very easy. Like, look at all this copper and coal. The iron's fine, but we don't really need the iron. So much coal. No autographs, please. Yeah, exactly. So how's everyone's weekend been? Did anybody get up to anything fun, anything exciting? Take care of anything they've been putting off for a while, like I tend to do? I hope everyone's doing well. I had dinner at my sister's for her birthday yesterday. That was fun. Ooh, boom. Big explode. Big explode. let's make some more. Oh, I need to use a little bit of fortune if I'm gonna make more torches. I don't have any coal on me. Are there any more that I didn't pick up that I could just real quick grab? Okay, there's some over there. Gear over here. Boop -a -doop -a -doo. We're going to ignore the fact that I hear it. Nope, we're not ignoring the fact that I hear a skeleton because he's shooting me. Rude. Rude. Very rude. You saw your first Christmas movie yesterday. And how was it? What did you see? I watched that trailer. That seems interesting. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. Do I have wood? I do. Oh, wood might be the problem. You know what? We'll just make all of it into torches. Okay. Let's kill some, Oh, God. I wasn't expecting him. I was going to kill some glow squid for glow ink. What is this my... This is my mine! I think. I'm pretty sure that's my mine right there. That's fun. Red One, the new film with The Rock and Captain America. In character? Like the Captain America? Or just, Chris, what's his name? Not Hemsworth, not Pratt. Chris... Oh, what's his name? Chris... I know it, I know it. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Chris... Okay, tell me. Evans. I wasn't gonna get there. There's so many glow squid. Alright, so does this cave not go anywhere helpful? Doesn't go further that way. We can do some swimming, but it's really hard to see, and we could potentially drown. And also this doesn't seem to go anywhere either, really. No. Okay, we're gonna find another cave. Get off the bubbles. Alright, that's plenty of that. Kind of want to grab this gold. And perhaps we take another route. I went to brunch in the aquarium. It was good. Way too many screaming children, though. Aww. So, how was the whole Animal Crossing thing? I told Kong we have to go. I want to go. I want a picture with the blathers cut out. And also to see the penguins. Nothing that way. We could try to go down this way, I suppose. Does this also turn into water? Hello, friends. How do you do? How do I get down there safely? Where's my bucket? Alright, let's clean up a little bit. Make a few more torches. Are you just all down there? Okay. I think we're okay. Maybe I should put my chest plate back on, but also we might just glide down there. That might be the way to do it. I think I'm gonna drop off some trash in a hole here. Just don't mind me. I don't need that bow. And maybe we'll put all this stuff into here. I also don't need that helmet. And I'll do a bundle of random ores as well. And random blocks. Hold on to that. That can stack. There we go. We're in business. Do we just glide down there? What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Spider's coming to us. Spider's coming to us. Let's staircase. Let's staircase instead. Hello, spider. Hello. 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 We're gonna put a torch down. Oh, it's a bat. I thought that was coming out to attack me. Just a bat. No big deal. Do the perimeter. Make our way back around. Okay. You can die. And you can die. Everybody else? Anybody? Anybody else want a piece? Throw a torch back here too. Oh, can we go through here? It doesn't really go anywhere. Alright, eat some food. It was cute. They had little signs and character photos all around. Sea critters that are in the game had their own special infographics. Oh, cute! Did it have any of the puns? Did it have the puns? And it's December the 13th. Recommend coming up on a weekday because the weekend's really crowded. Yeah, we'll probably go on a Tuesday when Kong is off. That tends to be how we do things. Let's go down into this little cave. Goes that way. It also goes this way. If anyone sees a geode, please holler. End of the road. There were definitely some Blathers puns, yeah. Excellent. So yeah, maybe this Tuesday or next Tuesday. We're trying to save some money right now, so probably not this Tuesday. Last week had way too many expenses. For some reason, all of my bills lined up on the same week. And one of the, so all Jesse's bills, like his vet bills, we had to put on one of those care credit cards, which they give you interest-free for a certain time frame, but we're coming up on several of those due dates and have quite a balance still, so trying to pay that down. Vet bills are expensive, folks. Very expensive. Get him, get him, get him. No, no, no. I was trying to get a record out of that. That didn't work. Eh. Oh, I don't want the bow. Oh, bunch of stuff coming at us from that way. Oh, diamonds. Eh. Eh. Ah. It's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. grab these diamonds. I'll take those, thank you. And the gold. I think my inventory is getting a little out of hand again. So let's throw up a few more torches. Ah, it's a witch. No! Not a witch. No, no, get away from me. Get away. Get away. Get away. Get away. Yeah. This is fine. Everything's fine. Are we almost 16 more seconds of this? My god. Witches, man. Ooh, is that a slime? I don't have any slime yet. That's exciting. Believe it or not. Hello, slime. Oh, I should have healed up before I did this. It's okay, though. The little ones can't hurt you. They're just my adoring fans. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye. And you. Goodbye. No, give me the sign. I'm not picking things up, am I? Inventory full. Okay. Am I safe-ish? We're gonna put this stuff in here. This in here, that in here, that in here. And anything else? Eat food. Eat food. Cave sounds. Spooky, scary cave sounds. So, no sign of a geode just yet. Oh, hello. Hi, how are you? Okay. So that seems to go back up. Oh, Grumpy's here. Hi, Grumpy. I was just hanging out on Grumpy's stream before I went live. He was on the Farland server? I think that's what one it was. Alright, I don't think there's anything that way for me. Grab this. Yep. Oh, that's a torch. I thought that was something. Alright, I think we have to go back again. But how do I get out of here? That's the question. I guess we pillar. What blocks have I been picking up along the way? I don't need this bow. Go away. Get out of my inventory. Shoo. I'll put the 2 pieces of coal in there too. Alright, let's pillar up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. Oh, need more blocks. We've got a little bit of cobble deep slate. Okay. Aha. Nailed it. Alright, so I think that ended over there somewhere. Right? We didn't go all this way down here, and yeah, that ends at the end. Alright, we might need to find another cave. Oh, hello, slime. How are you, slime? Aside from dying. Nope, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Ah. 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 This is fine. Whew. Slime get kind of overwhelming, huh? Oh, hello. Hi. Did you not get the message? To leave me alone? Or perish? No? You missed out on the memo? Well, check your email, slime. Goodness. Alright, so now we have a lot more stuff in our inventory. We could... I'd put down a shulker, but don't want to do that yet. Let's get some food. Another torch. I'm gonna run out of torches before anything. Ah! Not today, Satan. There's some lapis. Ah, where'd you come from? Where did you come from? Oh, there's cave up there. I see. That's fine. No! Leave me alone. Everybody leave me alone. Ugh. This corner safe-ish. Are you gonna die? No, you're still going? Okay. Alright, I need to make more torches. So let's grab, I guess, all the wood out of my inventory. That's all we got left. Yeah, that's it. So, two torches. 2 pieces of coal. That's not enough torches. Any more coal? I have a bunch of ore in my inventory. I could put those down. I should put the chest plate on. What am I doing? Not playing very safe. That's what. Alright, let's see what we get for this. Did I get 4 whole coal from 4 blocks? Hello? Okay. The rates leave something to be desired. There we go. Keldon's dropping. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Zombie-eyed Joe. Asking the real questions, Jules. We're good. I feel like I hear stuff. Oh, with the... Matt, stop dropping the headstone! Matt's got it out for me. Alright, any sign of a geode? Erp. I wonder if there's a particular, depth that the geodes spawn at. Now I am scared the gravestone moved closer to the center. Stop it, Matt! Stop! Oh, and I gotta pee. Alright, you know what? This cave's relatively safe. I've lit it up. It's a dead end. I'm gonna log out. And we're gonna have a short break. So. BRB. Can I run a break yet? I can. Okay, I'm gonna run an ad break. Take a short break. I'll be back in a few minutes. Feel free. Get a drink, get a snack, use the restroom, do what you gotta do. And I'll be back in a few minutes. BRB! We back. Hello, hello, hello. Did everybody get a drink or a snack? Oh, I feel a sneeze coming on. One moment. Or not. Oh, I ruined it. I ruined it. It's gone. It's gone. Little sip of coffee. Sip of water. So, like I mentioned, my sister's birthday was yesterday. Well, her birthday was Friday. Her birthday party. Her birthday dinner was yesterday. We went to her house, which is the first time I saw her house since she bought it. Nice little place. Very cute. She has a puppy, a little tiny Chihuahua puppy. That little guy is the cutest little thing, but also a total menace. Oh my god, he bites everything. She did not make Hot Pockets. No, Keldon. She made baked chicken, like baked breaded chicken in the oven. And some rice. And there was corn and green beans, but I don't like green beans. I had corn. And then we had ice cream cake. Glad she didn't cook you. Yeah, me too. Me too. It wouldn't have been very tasty. It wouldn't have been, it's like, no. Yeah, this. Then we had ice cream cake, and it had all the little crunchies in it, which are delicious. So yeah, no, yesterday was good. Very proud of her. Very proud of her for cooking us all a meal. All right, we're back. And it's scary. And let's get ourselves organized here. I'm going to put down the shulker box, and we're going to put a bunch of stuff in it. All right, all this random ore can go in here now. Oh, no, I did it backwards. Alright, put all that together, that all together. Ooh, different ore. We still okay? I should probably have it so I can actually see if something is coming our way. That kind of does not work. We'll put most of the coal ore. Do I still have sticks? I've got 20 sticks. I've got all our random mob drops. I guess I can put those in here too. All the rotten flesh, a bunch of slime balls, a bunch of copper. Alright. Nothing's coming at us. Oh, I should have turned some of the coal. Oh wait, I have a coal block. I forgot about that. There we go. And I don't need it yet, actually. Just kidding. We have a stack. I thought I didn't have any. And we gave my sister, she wanted a nicer like skillet kind of pan with a lid. She showed me the ones, we gave her the new one. She's very happy with it. And I think we might get one for ourselves. And she showed me what she was using. And it was like a skillet pan for ants. Like this pan was probably half the size, like half the width of the one we gave her. And then like an inch and a half. Like how are you supposed to cook anything in that? Ooh, hello. That was loud. My alerts are kind of loud right now. Hold on, let me lower those. Thank you so much for the follow, Ziv. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. So yeah, she's very happy with her new pan. I think I'm gonna take some of the iron ore just to have it. Silk touch. There we go. Oh goodness, we're getting a raid. Hey, welcome. Oh, from Ziv. Thank you so much. Welcome in. How are you doing? How was your stream? I appreciate you bringing your crew over here, and I hope everyone's doing well. I'm Cathadora. Some call me Cath, some call me Thad. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm playing on the Bedrock Legends server right now. But welcome in, everyone. Hello to Dark Angel. Oh, and we got a hydrate. Thank you for the hydrate redeem there. Cheers. Hope everyone's taking a big old sip of water. Thank you, Jules, for giving that shout out to Ziv. Tell me all about what were you doing on stream? Are you a fellow Minecrafter? Why am I putting that there? Oh no! Oh god, guys, we're just gonna die to suffocation right now. Woo! This is fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. My little heart. My little heart can't take that. Are we all okay? Everyone take a big deep breath. Everything's fine. It wasn't even close to death, but that was very scary. Oh my god. I was like, I'm just gonna die. This is gonna be the most embarrassing death. The most embarrassing hardcore death. I suffocated in gravel. Oh dear. So yeah, you were playing Minecraft, grabbing diamonds, going mining. Very nice, very nice. No time to chill, time for a thing. Keldon! Keldon has redeemed the queued drop. So that means it's time for y'all to pick an emote. Pick your favorite emote. Type !drop and an emote in chat just like this. Do just like I'm about to do. Right like that. Jules queued the drop. There we go. !drop and an emote, and all together we'll drop together in a few minutes. I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes. Set timer 3 minutes. Thank you very much. Hi, Harry. Hello, hello. We almost just suffocated to death in some gravel. Imagine if that's how I died. After surviving 17 days, I almost suffocated to death in some gravel. It wasn't even close. My heart barely went down, but it was very scary. My heart. Anytime I hear any unexpected damage, whew, my heart rate through the roof. Hot take. If a respiration helm helps you breathe underwater, it should also allow you to breathe under gravel. Counterpoint. Counterpoint. Underwater, I think respiration works to take oxygen out of the water. Whereas under gravel, there's just no air. I do like the concept, though. But that might be why it does not do such a thing. I know how it works. Let me be sassy. Okay, you be sassy. You be sassy. You know me. I gotta argue. I'm a bit of a contrarian, I gotta admit. Oh, and let me, I don't think I gave a follow to Ziv. Let me give Ziv a follow here so we can check out Ziv's stream. Hold on, there we go. Alright, now my bases are covered. The witch is, I don't want the witch. We got attacked by a witch a little while ago. Not a fan. 0 out of 10, would not recommend. We've had a few scary moments so far today because... Oh, hi. Not like that. That was a bit of a jump scare. I was not expecting skeleton. We're not going anywhere near that gravel. The whole reason we're down here right now, I'm looking for a geode because I want a spyglass, and yes, there was available amethyst shards in the spawn village because everybody's wonderful and this community is great. But alas, I want to find my own geode. I love geodes. They're so pretty. So pretty. Oh, my chat's not where it should be. Hold on. If anyone said anything, I've missed it. That's what happens when you spend 15 years with Kong. Yes, it's like constant debates. Somehow we haven't killed each other yet. Alright, everybody get your drops in. Get your drops in. ! Drop. And an emote. Oh, we got a friend on the server. Hello. Hello, hello. I think that's... Oh, no, 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 no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Don't even think about coming back. I think it died. Oh, did you not die? You're coming back. Oh, no. Oh, no. Whew. Whew. There's our timer. Should we go somewhere that's not deadly to do the drop? Did I get a drop in? I don't remember. All right, where was the cave we were in a second ago? That was pretty safe aside from the near suffocation. Right, this is the one. Yes, okay. All right, we're gonna park our butt right here for a second. And we're all gonna drop it. Last call, get your drops in. Just do ! Drop and an emote. Show off your favorite emotes. I love seeing the emotes people choose. And all you gotta do, that's all you gotta do. When I hit start, it'll all do it for you. They'll all drop from the screen, and we'll hope that your emote lands in the leaf pile. Are you ready? We're dropping in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're dropping. We're dropping. We're dropping. Here we go. All right, let's see. Who's gonna land? Keldon's on his way. Oh, getting bumped. Matt's bumping. Oh, no. There goes Ziv. I'm just zooming around above all of you. Oh, no. I'm doing my own thing. Oh, no. There's a bunch in the corner. There's a bunch in the corner. Oh, no. I don't think anyone's landing. I don't think anyone... Nope. Not this time. Not this time. But that's okay. That was the first mass drop of the day. There's time for more. We'll get some practices in during the normal drops, so I'm going to reset that. We'll just hide the fact that none of us landed. Nobody has to know. What mass drop? We never mass dropped. Failure wins. Yay, failures. We're all failures. So the drops reset. That means you can, when you see the leaf pile and you don't have an emote on the screen, you can drop normally. Just same thing, exclamation drop. And it resets about every 10 minutes. I'm going to drop Thad wins. Just as a little, come on, let me win. That's me. I'm Thad. I hear zombies. Come on, get in the leaf pile. Matt's dropping as well. So it'll reset itself every 10 minutes or so. It's just a little fun thing to do while you're hanging out here. Doesn't look like either Matt or I are landing this time, but that's okay. Let's eat a little food. Should I make a few more torches while I'm in the safe spot to do so? Grab those things. There we go. Perfect. Let's get that out of here. And we just went that way. It doesn't lead anywhere. Just loops around. What's this? Ooh, it's a zombie. Oh, it's 2 zombies. 2 zombies. Now they're 2 dead zombies. So that's nice. Where can we go? Where can we go? Hello there, skeleton. Please die. Thank you. Bloop, 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 bloop. Ooh. Rude. Oh, that doesn't go anywhere. My eyes played tricks on me. I thought it was a whole cave. It was just darkness. Nothing. Okay, I need a new, like, offshoot. So that's the end of that. That doesn't go anywhere. Don't think anything happens back there. Does this go? Is this a cave? Oh, this is a little cave. A little tight. Oh! Oh! I thought it was diamonds for a split second there. And this doesn't go anywhere either. Thanks for nothing, Minecraft. Should probably grab all this. Oh, I should have grabbed the copper. Just because it wasn't diamonds doesn't mean it's not helpful. I don't actually have that much copper. What if I want to build out of copper? What if? Alright, am I like just out of caves to investigate over here? Did I just turn around and go back the way I came? I think so. That doesn't go anywhere. That doesn't go anywhere. Hello? I want to find a geode. Please? That we came through already. Is this more cave? Boop. It is! We should not have just dropped in. What do we think this is? Easy mode? Not. Not easy mode. Could die at any moment. Why do I need copper to build a snowman? Does not compute. Is there a joke I'm missing here? I hear Enderman. Don't think this goes anywhere. Alright, what's up here? Oh, hello, Enderman. Should we try to kill the Enderman, guys? We can be smart about it. Ready? We're smart. Can't reach us. He can't reach us. Haha. Abusing the game mechanics. Haha. And that's how you fight an Enderman. Like a wimp. Alright, that doesn't go anywhere. We might need to go find a new cave. Unless we go up here. What's over here? More cave. Alright, and I didn't miss anything in like the ceiling for a geode, right? Kinda wanna go that way a little bit. Which, that's fine, because that apparently ends there. Monsters? No. Rude. Aha! Yeah. Alright, hit him. Oh, he didn't. You suck. I wanted a record. Stop hitting me. I took a lot of unnecessary damage there. With some copper. What? That's in the song? Oh, I'm getting distracted again. How do you fight a warden? You don't. You don't. You don't fight the warden. That's how. Oh, dripstone. Ooh, zombie villager. Ooh, bat. A lot of things happening here. Is he not coming down? Okay. Well, if you're gonna stay over there, then I'm gonna get a little more coal. Hello? Make him get stuck in water and then cheese it from afar with arrows. Is that how you fight a warden? Jules, is that what you've done? Have you fought the warden that way? Ooh! It goes into another cave, guys. Do we just pop down? This is fine. Totally fine. You go. Not the bat. I don't want to hurt the bat. I like the bat. Ooh. Dang it, wrong pickaxe. Silk touch. Or inventory space saving capabilities. Three times. Okay, well, you know what? Jules, I appreciate that tidbit of information. Ah, oh my god, there's a lot happening here. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Could you not? Oh, Enderman. Alright, that's fine. We can just tuck ourselves into a little hole again. Where'd he go? I'd rather kill the Enderman now than have him sneak up on me later. You know? Oh, hey, I was about to... He knew. He knew I was about to. Okay, come here. I looked at you. Come here. Give me a little feetsies. Little feetsies. Come back. Sir? 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 Oh, hi, zombie. Oh, he's back. Woo! Alright. Oh! What? That shouldn't scare me that much. You're just a creeper. I'm fine. I have a shield. Okay, water. Alright, we're doing alright. We're doing just fine. Should we perhaps grab a little bit more of that dripstone? We don't have very much of that. Let's just go back down again. Alright, I'm not going all that way. Let's go grab this copper. Did I? Was he having a bath? I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to interrupt his bath. You're right, that was pretty rude of me. I'm sorry. It probably will happen again. Should be really wary of the gravel after last time. Turns out the most dangerous part about caving is the potential gravel suffocation. Meh. Alright, I'm gonna grab a little bit of this stripstone. Don't need to be using Silk Touch for it, though. Just to have a little bit of it. Oh, my inventory's full again. What do you know? Gosh darn bows. I don't need the bow. I'm just gonna throw it in a hole. So, that arrow and that bow. And in that case, I'm gonna get rid of some of these. Also, this helmet. And that can go in here. Okay. We're good. Skyrim stealth archer of Minecraft. Engage from afar and hide from everything. You know, that's a smart way to do it. Whenever we play D&D, I'm like always an archer. Because I don't want to be near the big scary thing. Then I feel like I'm more likely to die to it. Oh, did I just pick all that? That's taking up so much space. Okay, hold on. We need to turn this all into blocks because I used Fortune instead of Silk Touch. Come here. That down. Put down the shulker as well. We'll clean things up that way. Okay, that can go in there. That can all go in there. That can all go in there. Copper, granite. And can I use a bundle to clean this up even further? Do. Perfect. I love bundles. I love bundles so much. Okay, so that can go back in there. Don't need the axe right now. Anything else? Why is my bucket of water not on my hotbar? That should definitely be there. Okay. Think we're good. Tons of copper, which is nice. Could start collecting some of that. With the silk touch instead of fortune this time. For inventory purposes. Oh, where? Okay, hold on. No, go away. Go away. Thank you. Goodbye. Oh, I don't want your junk. I don't want that. Okay, you go away. Thank you. Should we try to go this way? I should make more torches. Somehow I'm already out of torches once again. I think we need it to open up into like a really big cave if I'm gonna find a geode. I feel like that's the way we are most likely to come across one. And honestly, I've probably already passed one and just not noticed it. Oh, water. Hello. Oh, creeper. Hello. Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. Hello. Hello. Goodbye. Oh. I thought that was purple. My eyes played tricks on me once again. All the warm tones around it, and it's probably like nighttime. I thought that was a geode. This must lead up to the surface? Why is this so weird? Oh, yep, it's nighttime. That's exactly what it is. Should we sleep? So that we're not, like, surprised by phantoms when we go up to the surface. It looked purple, right? It was the nighttime light in comparison to all the warm toned blocks around it. Ah, we've all been fooled. Fools, the lot of us. Spooky sounds. End of the line. Did I put wood in my ender chest? Pour food? Did I put food in my ender chest? I feel like I haven't put anything of real use in here yet. I've got 16 raw cod. And a little bit of wood. Let's take some of that out and put that in here for now. What's in here? Not food. We're not out of food quite yet. But that is probably my main concern next. Oh, we're coming back this way. Okay. Do, 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 do. Okay, I guess let's go down this way. That's nothing. Hello, zombie. Hi. How are you? Goodbye. Wonder what's down there. Okay. Hi. 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 I said I want to know what's down there, but on my own terms. No, not yet, Matt. Remember your predictions? We're trying to be a little cautious here. Or at least I'm trying. I don't know about you. I'm trying to be cautious. Kind of. Alright, there is water. There's water, but let's see what's over here first before we do. Just to mob-proof things a little bit. So nothing's falling on our heads. You know? All that good stuff. Safety protocols. Make some more torches. We got one more bundle to start putting junk in again. Alright, now we can very slowly go into the big scary hole. Oh, diamonds! Ah! Where are you? Where are you? Rude. Oh, shoot the creeper. Yes, shoot the creeper. Shoot the creeper. Shoot the creeper. Shoot the creeper. No, don't explode! No! Ah, dang it. I was trying to get another record. I can't even see you. Where are you? I'm ignoring you. Okay. That's all fine. That's all fine, well and dandy. Is he gone? Alright, that keeps going that way. I want this diamond. Silk touch. Alright, any more hiding in here? No? Just the one? Okay. That's fine. And a little bit of lava. There's our geode! It's there! That's it! We found it! Nothing's gonna come after me, right? Let's put up some more torches because the light of the lava is going to go away. Please, please do stop. Please, please do stop. Thank you. Whoop. That's fine. We can take care of this. We ain't scared. We ain't scared. Just, we're a little scared. Where'd he go? Hello? Sir? Hi. Nothing else is lit up over here, so probably not. Is he dead? What? Where'd he go? Did he go elsewhere to die? Nope. Where are you? Come at me, bro. Where'd he go? Not a fan. Oh, hi. What are you doing? Besides, nothing. Okay, I don't know where that Enderman went. And that's a little concerning. Because I don't think he died. We do have a bucket of water, though. Bucket of water will save us from an Enderman in a bind. Oh! Found him. That was a heck of a jump scare. Ugh. There's more of you. How many? How many? There's a spawner here. There's a spawner. That's why there's so many zombie skeletons. We'll just let them do the work. Sir. 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 Thank you. Wonder if there's anything good. We got other side. I love other side. Yes. This adventure was worth it. Absolutely. Okay, hold on. Putting all my stuff in here. That can stay. This can go. I guess that can stay. What else we got? This can stack with that. This can stack with that. This stacks with that. Raw copper. Put the bones, the ender pearls, a few pieces of top. No, nope, it's full. Thing's full. Okay. Nope, give me that back. I need that. And that can go in there. Okay. Inventory. Do I have another bundle? No, I'm out of bundles. A lot of bundles. But we've got other side. We don't need the string. We don't need the bones. I guess we'll take the coal. I don't need pumpkin seeds. I don't really need iron. I'll put that in there too. diamond horse armor and gold horse armor. We could put diamond armor on our horse. That's fun. Alright, I'm gonna leave that stuff here. Look, there's a spawner. And an amethyst geode right by it. That's cool. We'll use our pickaxe. Pick that up. Thank you. Oh, I'm excited. These don't go in there. Those are all things that don't stack. Alright, now I'm here to get a bunch of crystals. I did want all the random ones too, like the little tiny ones and stuff, so we might have to sit here for a few minutes. Let's clear out some of the blocks so that they'll be more likely to grow. The more rooms, the more sides that are exposed, the better. This also... No, that's not budding. That's also not... Alright, and those can go... That's a normal one. Alright, expose that one. These can go... Such pretty little sounds. Oh, the Windows noise, that was me taking a screenshot. That's what that was. But thanks for looking out. Nothing's wrong. Everything's fine. It's literally part of the spawner. It's like, hello, there's the spawner. Alright, let's see, what else? These all seem to be regular blocks. Yeah, there's no buds over there. We can do that one, these, and that one. Alright, that one's fully... That one. I want to get the different size geodes. I don't know what I'm going to use them for yet, but I like having some of them. They can be used like decoratively. You can place them in the world. I love all the little jingles. Alright, and how are we going to get up to those? I guess we should do like a little staircase. I just love the jingles so much. Alright, so I think those are as open as they can be. Oh, there's one over there too that I didn't see from that angle. Okay. Oh, and that one. That's one that we just exposed. Hello. Whoop. Not what I was trying to do, but that's fine. Alright, anything else? I want to grab those blocks up there that... So maybe we do like this. Nope. Nailed it. Rawr! Joe, you scared me. How are you, Joe? How's your day going? Oh, I can't put that there. That won't grow. put it here. And there, that'll work. We found a geode. Look at all these crystals. There's some up there that I can't reach, so maybe we'll just pillar up. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, did they despawn already? Oh, there's another one. There we go. Any more? I think that's... Just kidding. There's more right here. Get rid of those. And torch in that corner. Alright, if I just do this for a second. Grab those. Very good. And we'll take all this back out. Alright, I think they're all... Except there's one blocking that. I can get rid of these. There we go. Now that's exposed. I dislike winter. Can it be summer again? It's dark and nighttime. Yeah, that's the worst part about daylight savings time. Now everything is dark and cold, and yeah, now I'm right there with you. If you got a petition I can sign to ban winter, I'm down. Alright, we just gotta wait a little bit and let these grow. Seeing one over there that I could grab. Just let it go. So while we wait, do we want to do a mass drop again? I'll set a timer for 3 minutes. Set timer 3 minutes. If everybody wants to be part of a queue drop, there you go. I'm gonna drop tappies. Yeah, she found a geode, but no geodudes. Doing good, getting a little work done. Very nice. I hope your weekend has gone well so far, Joe. Better have gotten some nice relaxation time in, I hope. Some cuddles with Mr. Kimchi and Mr. Walter. And maybe even Mr. Tom. Cuddles are very important for the soul. So many cuddles. Love that. Love that for you. Alright, well, while we sit here and wait for that to grow, and you all enter the drop with the emote of your choice, I'm gonna drink a little coffee. Also, Jesus, the background, you can't see the room at all. I swear, there's a whole couch right here. When the sun comes through that window, it is very bright. Like, see, there's a couch behind this ethereal glow. And a cat. There's a cat over there. I don't know where Scully is. Scully was hanging out in his little igloo bed. I'm so happy to have Other Side. Other Side is another Minecraft song by Lena Rangel. That is very nice. Very nice. Just saying. Alright, I'm gonna take some of the smaller ones, I think. How long do these take to grow? I'm gonna take some of the little teeny ones. Oops. Hopefully that wasn't a bud. I don't think it was. This is difficult. Alright, so we've got the large, the small, the medium, and now we need the full-sized one, which is this. I think this is full-sized. Yes, full-sized amethyst cluster. And then we'll get some regular, Can I turn this into... No, once it's turned into the block, you can't get the little ones. So we gotta wait for these to grow. And there's our alarm. It is time. It is time for the mass drop. Everybody in? Did everybody get into the mass drop? Exclamation point drop. And an emote if not. And we're gonna drop in 5. I swear there's a hand there. I want to fix the camera. The camera's too bright. I need blinds for this room. I'm an ethereal ghost. Did that help? It's still very, very bright. Oh, wait, I can lower that. That seems to help. There we go. There I am. Kind of. Yeah, apparently. I look very, like, desaturated now, but it's fine. Alright, we're dropping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Multilingual. We're dropping! There we go. Alright, come on, come on. Get in the leaf pile. Joe's got a good first start there. There's some bouncing, though. Oh, no. Keldon's gonna knock. Oh, no, Keldon. Everybody's out of the leaf pile. Oh, oh, hey, nope. Oh. Guys, we all clumped together. We all clumped together, and we all missed. Darn it. Darn it. I blame Keldon. Keldon! Yes, exactly. We all blame Keldon for this one. Let's just get rid of that shameful drop. Goodbye. Get out of here. Poof. Maybe you can redeem yourself. Yourselves. Oh, actually, sorry. You're right. It's Pencil's fault. You're right, Matt. Good point. Good point. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. This is taking a long time. Are those fully grown? Are you full? Are you fully grown? Silk touch. No. Can I put you back? Will it continue to grow if I put it back? Huh? Heh. Probably not. That's probably not how it works, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see if that'll grow now that I put that there. Matt landed. Good job, Matt. Jules did that. She knocked me all over there. Into Joe. I didn't see that. I didn't see that happen. I don't know. Sounds pretty sus. Blaming the mod. Imagine blaming the mod? Goodness. Bing bong, bing bong. Play the tape back. I'll do no such thing. This is all lies and slander. Ding dong, ding dong. Alright, well, while we wait, I'm gonna drop. What do I want to drop? I'm gonna drop. No! Oh. Well, that's not a very good drop. Don't look, guys. I didn't drop. I didn't drop. What drop? I want just a couple more. I am very curious if that one that I put back will grow. It probably won't. I imagine that by breaking it, I'm killing whatever cycle it was on. But maybe. Maybe. If this one becomes a full one, well, no. But also, why are none of the little ones going? Shouldn't they all be growing? Drop down. The high score. I'm thinking some of that is from yesterday. Just so y'all know. Oh, I think I know what would give me a little more life here. Let's see. Yeah. I'm properly illuminated now. Ah! And my hands, you can kind of see that it's not just white. Okay. I turned the light toward me a little more. So now there's probably glare on my glasses, but whatever. Also, why does nobody talk about how much it hurts to have headphones pushing on your glasses? Oh, that one just grew. Like, can these be a little less pushy? Come on, geodes, grow. Grow, geode, grow, geode, grow. What can we do while we wait? We could fight skeletons, but I don't really want to do that. We can go out the other side. Are there more caves to explore around here? And we can come back to the geode? Can I get out of the geode? That's another question. We can collect some of this. On the tuff while we wait. Instead of just standing here. Oh, except my inventory's full. Oh wait, no. I'll keep that out. I'll get rid of this cobble deep slate and this regular piece of deep slate. There we go. Now we have a little more room. That can stay there. Those can go there. Oh! Hello. Hello. Where'd he come from? Terrifying sounds. Everybody hated that, right? How we doing? Any more fully grown? No? Should we check on the one that's up at the top? It hasn't grown. I don't know if that will grow. I'm gonna leave that there as an experiment, though. And I guess we'll keep collecting all this toughen stuff. Toughen stuff. Kind of fun to say. Toughen stuff. So tomorrow I get to try to fix a stove. The heating element in the oven went. And for somebody to come by and fix it, it's gonna be an awful lot of money. So I found the part, and it turns out it's not supposed to be a very difficult fix. Ooh. So I'm gonna try to do it myself. Don't worry, I know to unplug it before I start any work on it. You get to go to work? Fun, Matt! So fun. No, that sucks. I'm sorry. Your vacation's over. Brave. Bold. Thank you. Thank you for noticing. But yeah, so it's the heating element in the oven, which is like the part, it's an electric stove. So in the oven, it's like the little, usually either like square or kind of squiggly shaped. And it plugs into a thing in the back of the stove. So you pull it out, you unplug it from the wall. And there's like a little box you gotta unscrew some stuff to get to the wires. And then you just disconnect the wires there. The part's supposed to pull out. You pop the new part in, you plug it into the little prongs, put everything back together, and it's supposed to be plug and play. Come on, Jude. Guess we'll collect this stuff here. Oh yeah. Forgot that was there. Brave, we're gonna be brave. Are there any sensors? I mean, anything besides sensors? Okay, it's just a few sensors. That's fine. You know what? We can get this. We can collect this. I'm being brave. Being very brave. This is not the right tool to collect them, huh? Can I just break them with this? Do I get them if I break them like that? No. They were fine. We're fine. And you were concerned. You were worried. Everything's fine. It's just some lava. I do want my shears. I want to collect some of this. Or do I need silk touch for that too? Can I collect it like this? Do I get it if I do that? Yes. Okay, we're just going to use that then. Nothing to be concerned about at all. I wasn't scared. You were scared. We're gonna just grab a couple shulker shields. A couple shulker shields. Please get out of my inventory. And this handy dandy thingamabob. And this. And we're gonna do that. And we're gonna make a shulker. There we go. Okay, shulker down. Shulker down. Where's the other shulker? This one should also be put down for a second. And there's stuff I can put in here. Let's put all the amethyst in here. Let's grab that out of my inventory. That can go in here. I'll put all the mob drop stuff together. And this can all go in here. That back on my hotbar. That in there. Wings. Rockets. Random shovel. Okay. I'm gonna collect a bunch of this while we wait for the other stuff. Oh! Do we know if shears just work on their own for this? Where's my shears? There they are. Let's see. No? Wait, we have 4. We still have 4. Okay, shears don't work. Oh, I didn't mean to throw them on the ground. I was gonna put them back in my chest. There we go. So, silk touch. Silk touch it is. Ooh, the skull going over the gold box, kind of cool. I'm scaring you? We're fine. We're fine. You're not still scared, right? Everything's totally fine here. Just a little bit of skulk. Nothing to worry about. I think I want to make like a carpet out of it. How much do I have? Put all this away. Those we're gonna keep on us because we're gonna go collect more. All this stuff, that's all good. This can stay in my inventory, and this one's mostly full. Is there anything else we can put in here? I think I'll just stick this one in here. That one's more full than this one. Yeah. Okay. So grab our crafting table. Throw that back in here. Grab the ender chest. That also goes back in there. And I think we're good. Make a few more torches, I guess. Dang it. Or we can make a crafting table while wood is scarce. That's fine too. Alright, good enough. We got the ender chest, we got everything else. Got my blocks back on my hotbar. Okay, let's go check out the amethyst geode. See if... there's any to gather. Nothing's up there, right? Oh, there is something up there. That's fine. Ignore him. Alright, do we have anything that's fully grown now? Or was none of this in range while I was over there? Is that one fully grown? Oh, it's so hard to tell. Let's get up here. I think that's the one that I put down earlier that still hasn't grown. Isn't this very entertaining content? Literally sitting here and watching crystals grow. We wait. Is that one fully grown? I don't think so. Definitely a lot more buds on here. So they are growing. Albeit slowly. That one might be fully grown. I think that one is. That one's definitely bigger than this. Yes, that one's definitely fully grown. Okay, so. Oh, and that one just grew. Okay, all right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Patience is a virtue. Has anybody drank some water recently? Y'all staying hydrated? All right, which was the one that we were gonna just collect? This one? No, this one? This one's fully grown. Yes. So we'll silk touch that one. Gimme. Gimme. Yes, that's a fully grown one. Okay. And then that one is also fully grown. Let's fortune this one. Hurry up and wait. Oh, you get so many. How many did I get? 16. Oh, God bless you, Fortune 3. All right, so that's going to be enough for me to make my spyglass, definitely. So the rest we'll just take that one. I think a whole bunch of them have grown while we were waiting. I'm pretty sure that one that we replaced is never going to grow. But I want to check one more time. Yeah, that's not going to grow. I'm just going to take that one. There we go. Where'd it go? There it is. Alright, so I've got 4 big ones, 3 little ones, and 2 of the other teeny tiny ones. I'm just gonna do that again. 2 more of those. 2 more of these. I'd like 1 or 2 more of the big ones before we go, but I'm also getting tired of just standing down here. That one's not quite fully grown. We'll let that one grow 1 more level and then we'll go. But hey, we found what we went looking for. It did take up like the entire stream. No, we got a little while longer, a little over an hour. It took up 2/3 of stream. That's fine. Come on, grow. 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 Do you think me whispering grow at them will work? One of the streamers I watch is playing Farming Simulator 25, and now I want to buy Farming Simulator 25. Ain't that how it goes? Is that the one that's like super realistic, like driving the tractors is complicated? Because I think Kong played that once. That is the one? Okay. There's a whole bunch that are almost ready to be fully grown. Patience, patience, patience. That one actually might be. No, not yet. Ugh. I hate things that have different levels like this. There are different resource packs that'll like highlight when something's ready to be harvested. Like crops will kind of shimmer or have an outline or something to them. And they have one of those for the geodes. And also one that prevents you from breaking the, not prevents you, but like makes it more obvious when it's the budding clusters that actually make them. Like these are just the regular amethyst blocks. These ones will make more little crystals because they have the little X in them. That's how you know. But there's resource packs that make it more obvious. And I'm like, if I could just like easily turn that on and off, that'd be fine. I do not want to play Farming Simulator 25. Sorry, Keldon. Yet I can watch people play the likes of Silent Hill 2 and have no urge to be anywhere near that game. No? No, you're not interested in the scary things? Come on. Come on, come on. Bup, 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 bup. Are you fully grown? No. You're loving the Silent Hill 2 remake? You're playing it yourself? Wait, that one? Is that one ready? Did that one grow while I wasn't looking? What's the difference? Okay, that one's definitely fully. Okay, so it's like, it gets like a little wider at the top, unlike that doesn't have the same, like this, there's like pixels. See how it's like rounded? This one doesn't have that. Okay, that's what we gotta look for. All right, that's silk touch. There we go. Got it. Hey, now we have 5. Let's just check the other ones real quick. Is this one? No, that one's not. That one's not ready. All right, that one's also not ready. Any more up here? No, no. Woo! We fell. All right, that one's ready. Gimme. And then we'll get out of here. Wow. Thank you. Okay. And that one is not ready. Okie dokie. Let's get our butts out of here. I have the coordinates, a screenshot of them, so if we need more, we can come back. Now how do we get home? That's the question. How do we get out of here? I think this is where we came from? Yeah, I think so. Can we get home safely? That's where we came from up there. Plenty of that. I'm also gonna take this little bit of coal. And we'll keep going up. Oh, come on, Keldon, get in the leaf pile. Yes! Clappies for Keldon. Clappies. Clappies for Keldon. Did we come from up there? No. Right. We should see if we can sleep. Because we've been underground for a while. Oh, good. It is nighttime. Now it'll be daytime when we get back. Ad break in 2 minutes, folks. Ad break in 2 minutes. Thank you, Jules, for letting us know. Let's grab a little bit more of this. And that little piece. Alright, there's way more than I wanted to gather. Alright, how do we get out of here? This way? This seems to be the way. Torch is on the left. That's on the right. Okay, torch on the left. Here. This way? There's slime over there. Alright, this must be. Let me out! Up there. Hello. Hi. Sir, do you know the way to the exit? Could you assist me with that? Because I don't. I don't know the way to the exit, apparently. What's this way? I don't think this is it. Maybe this way. I just go in a big circle. Okay, we live down here now. We live down here now. Thanks, Matt. That's the way we just went. That did not seem to be the way out. Oh, torches on the left. Hello, slime. How are you, slime? Excuse me, pardon me. Just try to get my way home. That's all. What's this way? That's on the right, so that doesn't seem to be the way out. We might just have to pillar. We may just have to pillar. Okay, is that that's on the left? Wait, that's on the right. That's on the right. That's on the left. Oh, I don't know where we are. In bigger caves, my torch methods get a little confused. Maybe... Nope, that's not an exit. Oh! Here we go. I think this is the way. Found it! Kinda. Daylight! Daylight! And a zombie. Hello, zombie. Goodbye, zombie. I have what I came here for, so I shall be on my merry way now. You enjoy your scary cave. Alright. Let's throw these wings on. Yeah? Nailed it. Oh, fresh air. Fresh air. And daylight. And there's my house. We survived, we survived, we survived. Alright. So, I am gonna feed the cows. Perhaps after we clean some stuff up, actually. Hold on, let's put some stuff away and then we'll replenish our food. Okay, we're Buckets can go there. All this ore can go in here. So much ore, so much ore. I should probably organize it. We've got a couple shulker boxes full of goodies to put away as well. And I need to make a record player. I need to make a record player to play. I have 2 records now. We have Other Side and we have, I want to say it's Ward? No. Oh, what is it? We can check. We can check. I don't have to remember. So we'll play our record in a bit. Put away all that. Mob drops can go in here. Mob drops, mob drops, mob drops. That can go in here. I'll put that as well. Did I put down the other? No, I did not put down the other shulker yet. There we go. There's all the ores. And all our crystals. We get to make our spyglass now. Don't I just need a little copper for that, I think? So maybe let's smelt down this that we got in the blast furnace. How many do we need? Probably 2. I imagine it's 2 and an amethyst. Yes, it's exactly what it is. Now look. Now I can go, look at my bridge. There's my bridge. I better look at the waterfall. There's my waterfall. It needs a lot of work. I need to add some like blocks in here to break this up, so it's not just flat like that all the way down. A couple stones here and there to add a little bit of texture to the water and build up the stones around it. Some cobble and stuff. Hey Mario, how are you? I'm just admiring the view now that I have a nice spyglass. Can we see our neighbors from here? Nope. Oh, wait, no. I don't think that's them. Maybe it is, and maybe we just can't see the stuff spawned in. There's a neighbor that way. How have you been, Mario? What have you been up to? Have you had a nice weekend? I sure hope you have. Alright, I'm gonna put all the crystals in one of these here barrels. You can go in there. And I think all the sculpt can go in there too. And maybe we should put the calcite and the basalt. Tons and tons of ore. And that we've been putting up here. Alright, so the raw copper and the raw iron can go there. All the ores. Alright, we've got 3 diamond. Quite a bit of coal. I might break some of this down because I'm a little low on coal now that we made a whole bunch of torches while we're out and about. And I should do some chopping. We should stock up on the wood. I had a weekend wedding yesterday and work today. Oh gosh, hopefully you recovered from the wedding all right before work. Your brother's wedding. Oh, very nice. Well, congratulations to your brother and his new spouse. That's exciting. I hope that the wedding was nice. Oh, we have even more stuff in here. A few things, just a few things. No big deal. And what's in here? Nope, not what I wanted. Put that in there. There we go. And what's in here? There we are. Okay, we've got a whole bunch of mob drops, more ores. More ores that I picked up. Let's throw these in here. Ore. Those we're gonna break down for more coal. Happy lurking, Matt. I wonder what we're gonna do for dinner. It was a good wedding. I guess it was a low-key one compared to other places, but it was nice. Nothing wrong with a low-key wedding. I appreciate a smaller wedding where it's just about who you're with and the relationship you're celebrating. It doesn't have to be anything flashy. Alright, let's see if we can fit all of this. Not quite. Alright, mob drops. Put all this stuff in here. There we go. We'll have to do some more organizing. Definitely. But this is a good start. A couple valuables. I think the record can go in here. There we go. Malohi. There we go. Malohi. That's the one I was thinking of. We've got a couple treasure maps. We could go tear up a mountain. Not a mountain. A beach somewhere. The opposite of a mountain. No need for flashy stuff in general. I'm a pretty simple person when it comes to that as well. Like, don't get me wrong. Some people like to dress up. That's good for them. I like pretty casual things. I want to put this shovel in here with all these other random shovels. A silk touch shovel. That's actually not terrible to have. If we combine, that's on breaking 3 already. We don't need to combine them. That's not actually the worst shovel. Okay. Regular iron shovels that can be combined. There we go. Let's do that. Okay, those have enchantments. Do a little bit of cleanup here. Oh, dang it. I picked up the wrong one. Iron shovel. Iron shovel. If we want to make some more paths or something. Okay. It's very dark. I actually need more like lights in this kitchen. Goodness, it's sort of a miracle that things don't spawn in here. Like this corner's pretty dark. Maybe we should do like a cute light fixture in here. Is there like a middle point of this room? It's a 2 doorway, so not really. Or we could just do like something off the wall there, I guess, like a lantern. Oh, Mario dropped. I didn't see the drop. Guessing it didn't land. My turn. I'm gonna try. What do I want to drop? I'm gonna drop the petals. Which is kind of weird when you drop something that completely disappears. So it's like, oh, where'd the emote go? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's gonna bounce past it, isn't it? It is. Ah, oh, bummer. Bummer. Didn't win this time. You know, let's sleep. Before we keep putting stuff away. Are we still the only one on? Yup. Just us. All by myself. Am I missing a shulker? No, I'm not missing a shulker. Ignore me. We're not missing one. Okay, more stuff to put away. This can go there. Bunch of blocks, more mob drops. Most of the blocks can go down here. The tough? Not the tough, the, whatchamacallit? Dripstone. Do I have dripstone in one of these boxes? I do. I do. Put that in here. There we go. Alright, shall we break the coal ore? Do we want to do a prediction? Do we want to do a prediction? I have 44 coal ore and a Fortune 3 pickaxe. Okay. Where's the prediction? Oh, I'm not on the right screen, that's why. Prediction. We're gonna start a new prediction. How many coal? So right now we have 5 in this bundle, but they won't be mixed in. That'll stay in the bundle. How many coal from 44 coal ore? So we'll get a minimum of 44 because it has to drop at least 1. Now I could do. Try and do it like increments of kind of close to 30 to 149 or 150 plus. Can we even get 150 plus? Hold on. Yes, you technically can. Okay, so 2 minutes on the prediction. I think I did this right. Wait, let's do to 110, 111 to 139 or 140 plus. Start prediction. Okay. There we go. Maybe I should be polite and ask back how you are. Oh, I'm doing just fine. I'm doing just fine, Mario. We're playing some hardcore Minecraft, so it's a little stressful at times because we only have 1 life, but we're still kicking. I don't know if you've seen any of this yet, but I'm on the Bedrock Legends server, which is a it's a hardcore Minecraft SMP. So that's a social multiplayer. I think that's what that stands for. But anyway, there were 30 of us in total that started, 30 different Minecraft Bedrock creators that started on November 1st. And since then, we have already lost 13 other people. So there's 17 people alive, including me. And we're 17 real life days into it. And in the top left corner, it says how many days the server's been active, like Minecraft days, which are 10 to 20 minutes. So yeah, the prediction's live. If anyone would like to take a guess at how many coal ore I'm going to get when I collect this 44 coal, these 44 coal blocks. Just a little something to do with the channel points. We don't do too much with them around here. But let's go right about here to start pillaring up. Yeah, I got a minute if you wanna take a guess for bragging rights. I don't want to pick them up here. We'll see what they'll go right into my inventory. I am going to put the wings on just in case, because I don't want to fall to my death. Oh, we got some points on 81 to 110 and some points on 111 to 139. All right, we're going for the big numbers. I like it. I like it. Anyone else? Last second? Okay. All right, folks. All right. Hoagie's dropping right down in the middle. Hopefully Hoagie's guessing skills were a little better than his dropping skills. And shall we? Shall we? All right, here we go. Fortune 3. Let's see how many we get. All right. I don't see any on the ground. Pig, you didn't pick up any of it, did you? Did you? I think that's all of it. It's all in the inventory. It's all in the inventory. All right. We ready? We ready to do some math? We've got 64 plus 41, which I can do that math myself. That is 105 coal. Did anybody have in the 105 range? 81 to 110. That's right. That's who wins. Can I mark the thing complete? Hello? 81 to 110, because 64 plus 41 is 105. Right? Nobody's gonna check my math, right? 6 plus 4, that's 10, that's 5. Yes, 105. Complete the prediction. Who won? Who won? Complete prediction. Two people bet on that. Jules and Mario. Mario was the other one, it looks like. I see the 3 next to your name. Thanks for the 10K, bestie. I believe that was Hoagie's. Hoagie's points. You got it. Good job, Mario. There we go. Y'all got bragging rights. And now we have coal, so that's good. Alright, I'm gonna restock our furnaces here. That has enough in it for now. Let's do another bit in these. Got some bricks. Another bit in there, another bit in there. And I'm gonna turn the rest of this into coal. Oh, we got 5 in here. What else is in here? What is this full of? I just took stuff out. Hello? How is this so full? Those bundles don't have anything. Guess we'll take that out. Alright, I keep taking stuff out of the bundle and it's still full. What? I think it was glitching. That was really weird. I've never seen that happen. Alright, we need a little bit of wood. That's also too much iron to keep on us. Let's do like 10 just in case we need them. This can go in here. And we need wood. We need some wood in our bundle there. How much will fit? 10? Beautiful. Okay. Now we're in business. So we need to do some chopping and some food collecting. One of those go in there. We don't need the other one. I might just put this other crafting table on this side. Maybe we'll hide it behind here. Then we'll have access to it in the bedroom, maybe? Yeah. There we go. Now we can get into it in both sides of the house. But it's hidden. Haha. Alright. Little sleepy times. Happy lurking, Mario. Is the rain going away? Rain, rain, go away. There we go. Mountain's coming back into view. Alright, let's breed up the cows first. Then we'll start chopping some trees, and we could potentially breed the cows a second time. Should we just harvest the wheat? And then it can also grow while we're chopping. Right? Seeds into here. And let's go breed the cows. Moo. 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 Why are there chickens in here? You're not cows. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Close the gate, close the gate, close the gate. Are you guys smart enough to jump up on there? No, you're not. Well. Alright, everybody in. Why do we even have that gate? Okay. Can we feed anyone else? Is anyone else still hungry? No, is that everyone? My room is so bright, I can't do anything about it. I don't have curtains on that window. I am ethereal, okay? I can probably lower the brightness a little more on the webcam. Let's see. Ooh, too warm, too warm, too warm. Is that better? It just keeps getting brighter. And it's going to keep getting brighter. Until the sun goes that way. It just shines directly. So, there's... You can't really see it behind the cat cam. Look, it's even worse. It's even worse back there. There's a window right there. There's a big old window. Do you see the default OBS filters? Filters on the camera? Oh, I don't have filters on the camera. I hadn't even thought about using filters on the camera. Filters. Oh! Ha ha ha! Effect filters. Color oh my god, I've never even looked at these. I've put the only OBS filters I've used are the ones for audio. What does this do? Crop, toning. shit. Oh, dear. Let's put that back where it was. This is not a safe place to be doing this. Hold on. Where does... this is good enough for now, right? Good enough for now? I shouldn't be messing around with that. That wandering trader could have killed me. Shouldn't be messing around with that right now. Alright, we'll let those cows grow up. We'll chop some trees. Go away, eggs. So many eggs. Oh my god, look at these. Look at these mountains. Just look at this view. Just gorgeous. It's not as nice when you zoom in. But, oh, I love it here. I love it. Love it. But I'll mess around with that a bit after stream. And I didn't even know there were filters for that, but that makes sense. There's audio filters. Why wouldn't there be video and image filters? You taught me something. You taught me something, Jules. Thank you. Alright, we're gonna need our axe for some chopping. Alright, we're gonna start with some basic oak trees. Let's just chop down all these regular oak trees. Is that everything? Is that all of them? I think so. What's annoying is I make sure the video looks good when I start stream, but the light changes so much in this room throughout the day, especially since daylight savings. Like in the morning, when it was just the morning, it wasn't too bad, but now like the sun changes so much in a few hours in this room, so we get some less than ideal video results from that. We got a jungle tree. I always forget about jungle wood. And it is a nice wood, like that nice warm tone. Oh yeah, the Nightbot with that command. If you don't know, I have my VODs posting to YouTube now. Starting at the first of this month with Bedrock Legends, I decided to start putting the VODs up. So if you missed stream or you want to go back, did I not get any saplings from that? Did I not get any saplings from that? Hello? Also, hello to Dixon. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. That's a little frustrating that I didn't get any jungle saplings from that. Unless I'm missing it. Let's log real quick, make sure the inventory is not doing that thing again. But thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, what I was saying was I do post my VODs to YouTube now, so if anyone would like to give a follow over there, a sub, whatever it's called over on YouTube, I'd appreciate it. I'd appreciate it. I've only recently started uploading there. But if you don't mind giving a sub or a like if you watch the video, that stuff goes a long way, especially for small creators like myself. So if you already subbed over there, just know that you made my day. I appreciate you. Alright, let's get some sleep again. And actually, I'm gonna grab a little more of the wheat from here. We might be able to do... Dang it, I didn't want all that. There we go. That should be more than enough. Do I have any jungle saplings? Let's go check the basement. I think that was my only one. Yeah, we got oak, we got cherry, we got spruce, dark oak. No jungle. We could go cut down a tree and replant over in the spawn village. So maybe we'll do that. We'll feed the cows one more time and make sure we picked up all the leaves and saplings and wood that we chopped already. And then I need to start killing some cows because we're almost out of food. Everybody been fed? Huh? Is that everybody? I don't see the wheat going down anymore, so I think that's it. Alright, excuse me. Pardon me. Sorry. Terribly sorry. It must be done. Avert your eyes. And yeah, that happened. Let's give a sweep over here, make sure I didn't leave any. Oh yeah, there's tons of stuff on the ground. But no jungle saplings. For some reason. Are you guys not gonna grow? Are these in the way? Let's replant the spruce. There's a log hiding in here. There it is. Oh, two of them. Sneaky. Sneaky, sneaky. Alright, that should all start to go away now. Tons of sticks. And we should probably replant the oak as well. There, one there. And here, and here. Good enough. Alright, go put all this away. No! Oh no! It's happened again! I should really take that fence gate out. Shouldn't I? Baby cows! Over here! Oh god, there's so many of you. There's so many! Please get back in the pen. Look at them all just running over. Like a wave. A wave of baby cows. Alright, I think I'm gonna put a fence gate. I mean, I'm gonna get rid of that fence gate. How many times am I going to accidentally release the cows? that away. I'm just gonna stick the seed in here. We'll put all the steak in the furnace to cook. Cook all that. Got some eggs. Put the apple away. Oh, I got a bunch of leather now. Alright, I want to put some of the wood up here. Alright, and I've got, what, in here? 10, that's plenty. So the rest of this, and the leaves, and those saplings will all go in the basement. And I guess I'll leave the sticks here, too. And that can go away as well. Along with that. These are my tools. Okay. Oh, I need my rockets. Nope, that's not my rockets. Meow. Just like real life, Skull is meowing at me. Okay, wood. Wood, wood, wood. Leaves? Leaves, leaves. Saplings. Mob drops. There. Nope. Where do we put the mob drops? There. And a barrel? Why do I have a barrel in here? Why do I have 2 barrels in here? That's weird. And this one block. Okay, okay. To the village. We need some jungle saplings. Jungle tree. Alright, I'm gonna cut down this jungle tree. And then we'll replant it. Do I have fortune on me? Let's just use that just in case. Alright, I think I'm actually seeing some of them fall this time, so that's good. Can't reach those. Okay, did I accidentally plant that one there? There we go. Ooh, do I have any of these? I don't know if I have any of the blue ones. One moment, please. Do I have any bones still in my old house here? None of that's bones. And none of that's bones. Alright, let's grab some bones. But nope, keep your eyes to the ground. Don't look over there. Go to the sketty spawner. Doop-a-doop-boop-a-doop-boop. Bone meal, thank you. Wonder what that is. This is someone's mine. That might be a mine. Okay. Would you like me to call your boss? Or how would you like to proceed here? There we go. A few of those. We have a sunflower. We have bamboo. Oh, you know what we don't have? This. I'm just gonna take one of these real quick. Just one. Then we can grow our own trees. Just one. And away we go. Whee! Okay. Now we have these flowers. We didn't have them before. I'm gonna put 2 of the jungle saplings in here so I don't accidentally run out again. And where's my nether stuff? That's here. 1 single piece of warped nelium. Thank you. Then we have those, the mushrooms. And we can start to grow. BRBs, okay. I'll go a little further and stuff. Thanks for hanging out around. Have a good one, everyone. All right, Mario, thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. Sleepy times. We're going to be wrapping up in just a short while anyway. A little more chopping before then. See if our steak's done. Almost. Good enough. What else can we put away? Oh, a random armadillo scoot we picked up. Alrighty. Put the wood up there, the chop in there. Okay, that's the silk touch. Okay, fortune can go there. Back we go. Moo! 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 Okay. Very good, very good. Anything else to collect? I guess we could put another tree here. Oh, you know what? I bet we would have had the... Oh no, the blue flower that we picked up is only in the swamps. I remember now. But look how nice this is. This is another really nice spot. With all the flowers. It's a gorgeous seed. Alright, if my trees would grow, that would be great. Guess we could bone meal, but meh. Let's chop down the dark oak while we're doing this. It's a short one. Do need the fortune pickaxe for this. I should make a hoe with fortune on it. Alright, do we get enough to replant? I hope so. I sure hope. Yeah. One, two. Alright, that one will grow. Ooh, the acacia has grown. Nope, not what I wanted. There we go. Alright. Shall we chop the mangrove? This one's always a little difficult. Can we get over there? Nope. Nope. Ride the vines all the way to the top. There we go. Whew. You know what? I should take some of these. And where are the propagules? Are there any propagules around here? Alright, there's some on that tree. I just want to make sure I can replant. What do we use to break this quickly? Is this also? Yeah. Alright, did I get everything from the main bunch of the tree here? Let's see. Nothing's hiding in here, is it? There it is. Alright, hopefully that's everything up there. Oh dear. Can we reach all the roots? Grab the one I dropped. There we go. And the leaves should despawn. There's a propagule. Gimme. Thank you. Alright, I think that'll all despawn on its own. Not seeing any hidden logs, so we should be good. We got a few propagules out of that, so let's go. One here. And one... That's too close. Let's do one here and one over there. That might grow like into my pathway. See if those work. The dark oak grew again. Let's check on the cows. They seem to have grown. Shall we breed them again? Trying to think, maybe I should put the bees' nests over here and a few flowers on the other side so they'll fly over and pollinate the crops. Oh, sorry, chicken. Wasn't trying to trick you there. Not much movement. Movement. Alright, that might be all the cows. Oh, who's dropping? Matt's dropping. Matt's dropping once again. Alright, I want to drop then. My turn. My turn. I'm gonna drop Jesse L. Nice landing, Matt. Clappies for Matt. And he didn't even have to drop the headstone this time. Alright, I think I'm gonna keep this wheat in here. It's not a lot, but some. Let's go back in the house, put away all the wood we've been collecting, and real quick I'm gonna grab the honeycomb. I want to make some candles. So grab that. Grab that. Did I get all 6? Yes. Okay. Alright, before we go to bed, let's just clear up the inventory so we can make the most of the daylight. Alright, woods. Woods. Very good. Dark oak goes there. Cherry, spruce, jungle, regular oak. Okay. We don't have either of the nether woods yet. Ad break in 2 minutes. I think I'm actually going to snooze that because I'm going to be wrapping up shortly. So no ad break. Jules, if you see that pop up again, feel free to snooze it. I think we can do it 3 times. Okay, we got more propagules for next time. I think I'm just gonna go compost these. The spruce leaves should go with the spruce trees. Mangrove, mangrove, oak, oak, jungle. These random seeds can be acacia. I don't have any acacia saplings in here? Okay, that's fine. Put those together, the mangrove leaves. I'd like to start putting down hidden lighting instead of all the torches everywhere. So we'll have to get some lanterns probably. Oh, there's the acacia saplings. Just kidding. So that's the acacia. These ones we're gonna compost. Those we're gonna compost. We've got mob drops in here. I'm just gonna put the egg in there too. And then when I'm like, why is there an egg in here? Well, no, why? It's my fault. Put the sticks in here. So this is all going to the compost. The barrels I'm gonna put upstairs. Oh, nope. Passed by. With the chests. There we go. Anything else? We got a little bit of glass in here, a little bit of coal. This is too many arrows. I don't need that many arrows. So I'm going to stick some of those into storage. Anything else that can go back there? Arrows. outside real quick. Stick this stuff in the compost. Doop, doop, doop. Perfect. Take a little nap. And I think before we wrap up, I'm gonna go see about buying a bunch of lanterns from the trading hall. Grab my emeralds. Now let's take another little flight. Boop. Let's go over the top of the mountain this time. Whee! Down into the valley. There's spawn. That's where we spawned in all together. Did I go too far? And down. Oh, ignore that. We're not looking at the spoilers. Nope, we're face down. La 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 la, you can't see anything. Alright, is it librarians that sell lanterns? Sometimes. Am I making that up? There they are. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Why do you have particles? Okay. Okay. Farmers, do you sell lanterns? No? You sell name tags. Maybe we should buy a couple of those. Couple more name tags. Do you sell lanterns? You do. Okay, thank you. I'll take those. Thank you. Who else? Do you? No. Farmers. Did I already check with you? You do, but you don't have it unlocked. Are we actually keeping you? Maybe? I don't... I guess I could sell them paper, unlock it that way. There's the sugarcane farm down here. Oop, oop. Oh, I passed it. There's no, like, chests to put the extra stuff in, huh? Whee! Do any of these have some sugarcane? Okay. Let's turn all this into paper. Sir? There we go. Perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Were you the other one that sells lanterns? You are, but you haven't reset yet. And I don't think any of these guys do. Oh, whoops. No. Okay, so the rest of the paper I'm just gonna stick in here. I'm gonna put the name tags in here for safekeeping. I would like more lanterns. Is it almost sleepy time? I don't think so. Did I check with you? Huh. Huh. Oh, we're taking a break. Ad break in 2 minutes. Ad break's already started. Not nice trying to blow him up with a rocket. No, no, I was just showing him a little fireworks show, that's all. He's fine with it. I wonder if it's almost sleepy times. Let me out. Let me out. Where's the sun? It's not sleepy times yet. Oops, I tapped out. No, it's no big deal. No big deal. I think most of the people hanging out already have a sub. Oh! No! Oh no! They're raiding in during an ad break! Hi Raiders! If you can hear me, I'm sorry, we're in an ad break. You might be getting ads right now. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. From Emmy Beanie. I hope I'm saying your name right. Welcome, ad break Raiders. Welcome in, welcome in. Let's get a lovely shout out for the lovely Naku. There we go. Naku, if you can hear me, thank you for the raid. If you can't hear me, I'll say thank you again in a minute and a half. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Those of you who can hear me, welcome in. Beanie. Beanie, you got it. Thank you for the follow, Beanie. We are in the middle of an ad break, so sorry if you're getting hit with ads right now. I was just over here to grab some more lanterns. We're waiting for these guys to reset their trades, but I'm afraid they're not going to. I think we might have missed the cutoff on that. And we got a few more minutes before sunset, it seems. So I'm just casually waiting here for sunset. But welcome in, everyone. Still in the ad break. Oh my god. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. We're almost done. We're almost done with the ads. I want more lanterns. More lanterns. Ad break's over. Hooray! Welcome back, everyone. Thank you, Naku, for the raid. I really do appreciate it. How was your stream? How was your stream? Tell me all about it. Were you playing hardcore again? How's that going? If you have to raid and run, I totally understand. Get snacks and whatnot. Thank you for bringing your crew over here. Ah, there you are. Woohoo! Welcome in. How was your stream? What were you up to today? Yes. Hello everyone who's new here. My name is Cathedora. I am coming to you live from the Bedrock server. The Bedrock Legends server. This is me. Hi. Hi. Don't break the blocks. Don't break the blocks. Don't ruin the farm, Kath. Don't ruin the farm. But my name is Cathedora. Some people call me Kath. Some call me Cat. Some call me Thad. My pronouns are they, them. And I mainly play Minecraft here on my channel. Not all the time, but most of the time. Especially this month while we're on the Bedrock Legends server. For those of you who are not aware, this is a hardcore server. 30 of us started, including Naku, who unfortunately had an untimely death, which I may or may not have witnessed. Rest in peace. But good news is, Naku says that she's still alive on the Bedrock hardcore server that she's made. Pretty chill today. Got a new keyboard. Ooh. Ooh. Very nice. I need to get a new keyboard. I'm using the one that came with my computer and it's not great. But that's exciting. Drop creepers do indeed suck. They do suck. Very unfortunate. Oh yes, you reset your trades. Thank you. Thank you. I would like all these lanterns. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let me just grab all these. That's why we're here. Who else had them? Was it you that had them? No. Was it you? Yes. We're buying all the lanterns because one of my next goals is going to be to hide all the lighting around my base, which I'll show you in just a second. Just gonna grab whatever lanterns I can here. And are you done? You don't have any lanterns? I think that's it. I think it's just the 3 of them that sells it. 3 or 4 of them. And we're gonna head back to my base then. Let's just base down. I don't want to ruin anything anybody's working on over here, so we're just gonna fly up this way and go around. That's what I could have been doing the whole time. I could have just gone around the other side of the mountain. So that's the spawn village where we all began. You just got yourself a leave-in 60% keyboard. It's a bit small and feels a bit weird. Oh, that must take some getting used to. This over here is my base area. Got a little bridge and a pond and a waterfall. Those things need a lot of work on them, but I put in the waterfall and the pond. Those were not there in the beginning. This was just green fields, and I wanted a water feature, so that's what we have there. A work in progress waterfall, and then the world's longest staircase up to my house. But see all these torches everywhere? They gotta go. They gotta go. So we bought some lanterns so we won't have all the little particle effects popping up through my moss carpets when we put those down. That'll be a task, because there's a lot of torches around here. A lot of torches. And this is my house. Cathedors. And my little storage room in the entryway. We got a staircase that goes up. And here we have what is kind of my kitchen. We've got some kitty cats. We've got Mulder. We've got Mulder. We've got a Scully. Those are after my 2 in real life cats. And this is Jesse, named after the late great Papa. My boy. My boy. There's some emotes for each of those that I have here. Oh, the light hiding, indeed. So much done. Last I was here, you were still digging out and planting the pond. Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming back again. Yeah, we're working on it. The pond needs a lot of work. Like, I need to do a whole bunch of adding some different blocks and stuff and making that just look more natural. And we'll add some details around the pond. And then over on that far side there, across the bridge, right over on this spot, I think I want to put like a fishing hut so that I can hang out by the pond and do some fishing, you know? Nice relaxing times on the hardcore server. We also have 2 other cats. We have Harry and Cooper. Harry and Cooper are 2 black cats that we adopted during yesterday's stream. I went out looking for mud because I thought I could use some mud for decorating the pond in certain spots. So I wanted to go out and find a mangrove biome and collect all the mud that way. On the way, we came across a witch's hut, and in that witch's hut, 4,000 blocks away from home, mind you, I found 2 black cats. And I'm like, well, I can't leave them here. They gotta come home with us. So we made the trek back on foot and by boat all the way back to base. And then we went out again and found the mangrove biome. It was quite a journey. And yes, today, we spent most of today looking for a geode and waiting for the amethyst crystals to spawn so that I could have this. What's that? Oh, that's the portal. It's like, whew. But I didn't have a spyglass, and I wanted one. So we have one now. And Keldon has redeemed a Q drop, folks. This is going to be our last Q drop of the day. I'm afraid I do have to start wrapping up here. But we're going to have a Q drop. That means we'll all drop together. So if you're not familiar with drop, you just do !drop, and you can put an emote, your favorite emote at the end there, and the little emote will drop from the sky and hopefully land in that pile of leaves. You have no control over where it goes, but I like to pretend that it's because we don't have good practice when we don't land. But with a Q drop, we all drop together. So I'm going to set a timer. This is going to be a shorter one. Set timer 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes to do an !drop and an emote of your choice. And we will all drop together. Which one do I want to use? I'm gonna drop my little alien spaceship. There we go. There we go. If anyone else would like to participate, got about 2 minutes to do so. While you do that, I'm going to put away all the stuff in my inventory. That does not need to be here. We're gonna put away our emeralds. And we've got all these lanterns now. That's exciting. And maybe we'll start doing... Oh, well, it's dark, so maybe we should sleep first. Eat a little bit of steak. But yeah, we're gonna start switching up some of the lighting in here. I want to put some candles down in different spots. Get rid of all the torches. Like a little candle would look nice here, provided Harry and Cooper don't ruin anything. In real life, you would not put your candles anywhere that the cats can reach. PSA. And I'm gonna grab a couple of carpets out of here. We had some moss carpets. And a whole bunch of moss that we got out of the moss farm. Oh god, I can't open it there. That was silly. Put it on there. Now I can open it. Grab a stack of these. And where was the moss? In here? Let's do a little bit of the removal of the torches here. So lantern, carpet. Oh, I feel better already. And while we wait for that timer to go off so we can start the drop, like I said, just exclamation drop and an emote, and we all drop together. And then we get to yell at each other for bumping into one another and knocking us out of the leaf pile. And there we go. There's my timer. Get back in the house here. And last call, exclamation drop and an emote. All those are both very cute emotes. It only allows one, so I think that first one's going to be the one that goes. But yes. Okay. Exclamation drop and an emote. Last call. We're dropping in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jules is in the drop. Hoog's in the drop at the last second, guys. Here we go. We're dropping. Whee! Look at us go. Look at us go. Bouncing around, getting knocked around. Hoagie's getting some speed there into the corner. Oh, gosh. Oh, that actually might help Naku. Naku might make it. Maybe? Maybe? Oh, no. We're bouncing off the... Oh, no. Oh, who's... Keldon. Keldon's making it. Keldon for the win. Keldon has won the drop. Clappies for Keldon. Clappies for Keldon. Everybody else, we need some practice. We need some practice. But alas, we cannot practice today. I am afraid that I do need to wrap things up here. I've been live a little over 3.5 hours. We had a slightly late start to today, but I have things to do. I don't believe... I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow morning. I usually stream around 9 a.m. Eastern time. I don't have a set schedule, but that's usually when I stream. I do have things to take care of tomorrow morning. I have to fix a stove. I have to fix an oven specifically. I have to replace a heating element in an oven so that, you know, it'll produce heat again. So I'm giving that a go. Wish me luck. But if I'm up to it, I might do a night stream tomorrow. That is a possibility. No promises, but I might do a night stream tomorrow. Or an afternoon stream. We'll see. We'll see how tomorrow goes. I don't usually stream on Tuesdays either, but again, we'll see how it goes. I should be back Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, Wednesday morning-ish. Ish is the big part there. But thank you so much for everybody who came in with Naku's raid, and thank you for the raid, Naku. I do appreciate it. If you're not following, please consider it. I'd really appreciate it. You can get notified when I go live next, see what's going on here on the Bedrock Legends server from my point of view. And let's take a look at who we should raid. We're going on another raid, guys. Y'all just got here. We're going on another. I hope you're ready. Let's see. Let's see. Is there anybody else from the team live right now? Okay. Doesn't look like anyone else was on the server. I was the only one. Now it says 0. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, that's a possibility. Oh, I forgot to switch over to my screen. Stream ending. There we go. Stream ending. We could go... Oh, there's a few good possibilities here. But I think I know where we're gonna go. I don't know that we've had a chance to raid this person yet. Have I recently? Let me just take a look at my recent raids. I'm curious. I don't think so. Nope, pretty sure we have not. So, I know where we're going. We are gonna go see Moss, who is not currently on the Bedrock Legends server. I believe he died. But he is live on Bedrock Farland. So more Minecraft for you, more Bedrock Minecraft for you. Grab your raid calls here, hot and fresh raid calls. If you don't mind hopping in on the raid, we can go spread some love, say hello. Copy pasta that. And before we go, you know the drill. We gotta drink some water. Big ol' sip of water, folks. Hydration, so very important. Please grab your beverage. Take a big ol' swig with me. Cheers, folks. Thank you for being here, Jules. And that goes to all of you. Thank you all so much for being here. But thank you to my lovely mod and lovely friend, Jules, as well. If you don't know Jules, you should. Jules is not only one of my best friends, she sometimes, like, once a year streams. But maybe if she gets more followers, she'll stream more. That's my method. That's my theory. That's my theory here, is that if we all follow Jules, we can get her to stream more. I'd love it. I'd love it if she did. So I'm going to keep pushing that until it happens. Yeah, copy those raid calls. Hop in the raid. Let's go see Moss. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to stream it all tomorrow or Tuesday. If I do, it'll probably be in the afternoon, but I should be back Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern-ish. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for the follows today. Thanks for the raid. Oh, we're gone.